Hey everybody, this is Tracy of A View from Tracy's Point, and I'm just here not with a recap, but a short review of BET's new series, The Quad. And I want to let you guys know that I will be recapping the show on a weekly basis. It comes on Wednesdays at 10 o'clock. But last week we got it was like a 2-hour movie premiere introducing us to the show, and it was pretty darn good. I don't know what's gotten into BET, but they come to do business in 2017. Just to tell you a little bit about the show, it stars Anika Noni Rose, and she plays Eva Fletcher, who is, she was the president of a Ivy League school. I think it was like a small school on the East Coast. And she had an affair with one of the grad students, and she ended up losing her job. And so she's basically been blacklisted from, getting any jobs at any, really good colleges or universities. And so she ends up taking a job at a school in Georgia called Georgia A&M. And I'm thinking they're kind of like taking a lot from FAMU in Florida, go Rattlers, but we're going to give them a pass on this one. And so her husband has ordered her out of the house. So they have like this big mansion in Connecticut, I think they live in. And so he tells her, before she gets the call from GAMU, that regardless of whether she found a job or not, that she had to get up out of his house by the end of the month. So she gets the job at GAMU. She moves with her and her daughter. The daughter doesn't want to come, but she has to go because she's getting free college tuition. And so they move to Georgia, and she is in for a battle because basically the school is run by the band. The band is like world renowned, and they bring in all the money to the school where all the other programs like the football team and stuff, they are like failing. But she's determined that she's going to change things around, and they have an incident where a female student is injured in a hazing. She was beat up by the drum majors or something, and she ends up dropping out of school. So they're dealing with that issue. And then her roommate, who was also trying out for the band but didn't make it, she knows the truth about the hazing incident. And so to keep her quiet, the band director promises to put her in the spot that the roommate has exited because her parents came and got her and took her back home. And so Anika Noni Rose's character is like in a tug of war with not only the band director, but one of his sidekicks, who I think is a member of the board of directors, who wanted the job himself but didn't get it because, they gave it to her. And it also stars Jasmine Guy, and I think Jasmine Guy is not only a professor, but she may be on the board of directors, and she's rooting, for Eva to succeed. And I think like the most exciting part about the show was when the grad student who got her fired on the East Coast had shown up, and she was on the phone with her husband, whining and complaining about, how things are going in Georgia. And I'm thinking that she wants to get back with the husband. But let me tell you something, when that boy showed up, she hung up on that husband, and next thing we know, he was wearing Miss Anika Noni Rose out. So I think there's like some stalkerism going on, because then there was a scene where she comes into her office and it is just roses all over the office. And I think that the football coach, he has a liking to her, and he can tell by her expression when she reads the card that the roses didn't come from her husband, that they came from somebody that she wasn't too happy to get the roses from. And let's see, what else was going on this show? Oh, the daughter, is very rebellious, doesn't want to be there, and she ends up right after Eva gets the board of directors to pass a code of conduct for the school, saying that, inappropriate behavior like the hazing of band members and all of that is not going to be accepted, and that there are going to be harsh penalties when they do happen. And so right after that happens, then the daughter is like playing strip poker, and they're drinking, and she gets drunk and passes out, and somebody is video recording the whole scene. So coming up, we're going to see the band director and the other guy. They're going to try and use that footage against her, to try and get her out of the position. And then there was a scene, there was a kid on the show who came from Chicago because he was involved in a nightclub shooting, and his mom was like, okay, you got to get out of here. So she sends him down to Georgia to go to school, and he wants to be a rapper, so he's like really into that. And his girlfriend, who was with him at the club when the shooting took place, she comes to visit him in Georgia, and while she's there, she ends up getting murdered, and he's going to be blamed for the murder. So I'm sure with some other things going on, but those were the highlights. And like I said, just wanted to do a quick review and say that the acting is great, the storyline is really good, and I really think I'm going to like this show. And kudos to BET for bringing it in 2017. So until the next time, guys, take care. Bye-bye.